Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we are now going to spend the month of May taking a look at as many of the legacy figures that I've been able to gather. Now this one here in particular is a special one, as it was one of the last ones to also be featured in the previous Kingdom line. This is Hot Rod. Hot Rod, of course, is a core class figure, so he's one of the least expensive figures. And that'll also mean he'll be at the proper scale that he can be used with the Arc figure that was also released in the Kingdom line. Now, even though this is the legacy version of Hot Rod, it is the exact same as the Kingdom one. Of course, Blaster and Galvatron will also be reissues from Kingdom, and, well, we've already talked about that beforehand. Of course, before we go too far, I want to show you an interesting detail here with the box. And of course, all the legacy toys are going to be like this. On the one side here, they will have the action figure, as shown there, and then on the other side we get half of the mural. This will be for the respective faction. Here will be the Autobot faction, and since I got all three of them, here's the Decepticon faction one alongside it. So as you can see, this is how the complete mural will look for Legacy. It's kind of interesting, but not much to really talk about on it. Okay, for the benefit of those of you who aren't as familiar with this character, let's talk a little bit about Hot Rod, as here is his Generation 1 counterpart. The original Hot Rod was released back in 1986. He was part of the wave of toys to promote the animated movie, as Hot Rod was the main star of the movie. However, this version of the toy would only stay on the shelves for 1 year. The following year, Hot Rod would be made into a Target Master figure, which basically used this same figure, but they enlarged the handholds and the hole on the engine so that he could accommodate a different gun. That gun was able to transform into a separate figure. Unfortunately, as you can see with this core class figure, that did not carry over. He comes with a sword instead. Now, there's a gimmick to the sword here in this toy line. For the first three guys that are released in the core class for Legacy, that would be Hot Rod, Iguanus, and Skywarp. All three of their weapons can be combined into a larger sword. You use Skywarp's tuning fork as the base. Then we attach onto it Iguanus's blaster, just like that, and then you would take Hot Rod's sword and attach it at the top, and then Hot Rod has himself a giant sword that really does not serve much of a purpose beyond looking like that. Although we could probably channel in our inner He-Man by the power of Grayskull. Nah, that doesn't work. Alright, let's take a look at Hot Rod's lone accessory, and that would be his sword. It's done up primarily with a red hilt and a blue energy blade. So in some ways, it's kind of reminiscent to a lightsaber, which kind of goes well as there was a lot of Star Wars cues in the 1986 animated film. From RC's head having a stylized version of Princess Leia's hairstyle, to Unicron being basically an exaggerated form of the original design for the Death Star. At any rate, it's a nice looking little weapon. It's just hard to picture Hot Rod with a sword, but I guess anything goes. Now let's take a look at Hot Rod's articulation here, and he has a lot of articulation for a core class figure. His head can be turned from side to side. It is unfortunately not on a ball joint, so it will not move up and down. His arms will not stretch out to the side any further than this, but they will lean inwards, just like that. Oops, let's not do that. There are kids watching. His arms can be rotated at the shoulder all the way around. His arm can be bent at the elbow 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at the bicep, so he has G.I. Joe battle grip. He does not twist at his hips, unfortunately. You'd think he would, but he apparently cannot. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He does have a thigh cut, so you can twist his leg at the thigh. You can raise his leg up at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend him at the knee 90 degrees. So, Hot Rod does have quite a range of motion going for him. Now we're going to transform Hot Rod, and it's a pretty simple process, really. Especially with the fact that he's a core class figure. The first thing we do is we're going to fold his arms up so that they come up next to his head, and the arms should connect into the side of his chest. This sometimes takes a little work, so you've done it a few times. There we go. Like I said, they should snap in just like that. Then now we're going to come down here to his legs. And his legs should come out sideways, like so. So once you've done it like that, we're going to turn him over to his backside. You're going to pop this section free, and we fold that back. It does not lay flat in the traditional sense. That is a raised section. But then you're going to come here to the backs of his legs. You'll first raise up this one section, and then stretch it all the way up. Like so. Then we're going to try to secure his legs in, and that should also hold in the rear spoiler. You just kind of turn him around to make sure that the spoiler is getting connected in. There are grooves to help hold the spoiler section in. Then we're going to bring the front piece together. Just snap these pieces together to help form the hood of the car. Then fold it all down to the front and snap it all into place. It may fight you a little bit. But one piece in the back didn't snap in. The spoiler is always going to give you fits, but there we go. Now Hot Rod is in his classic car mode as a Cybertronian racer. And of course, you can attach his sword to him by placing it here on top of the spoiler. And then that gives him an energy sword that really can't do anything. Whereas here it is compared with his Generation 1 toy. And at least it allowed you to connect one of the cannons to the hood of the car. That at least made it semi-useful. Of course, how well does the new one roll here on this table? Shift the other one out of the way. Not too bad. It's not outstanding, but it's not bad. At any rate, we get down to my thoughts on it. And I'm glad they finally released Hot Rod as a core class figure. Hot Rod is definitely one of the more popular Transformer characters. He always has been, and seems to always will be. The unique design of his car does translate over pretty well, although it is missing a few of the details from the G1 lineup. Like, it would be nice if the hood of the car would have had the Autobot insignia on it. I mean, it's nice they put it on the chest plate, but it'd be nice if it was on there too to keep some consistency. The energy sword weapon, that's something I'm having a little trouble floating my head around, but it's alright, I guess. It just seems kind of silly on the car. But then again, when you look at how it's depicted here on the box, it does appear to be blasting energy from it, so I guess that's how it works. The power of imagination. At any rate, that's my look at the Kingdom and Legacy version of Hot Rod. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content that we feature on this channel, please do remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We do appreciate the feedback around here. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.